Hello! Because you guys seem to enjoy the first 100 hours video, we're back with another one. This time we're exploring the region of Hoenn once again, accomplishing a set of goals. Sadly, the Gen 3 remakes don't allow us to customize our clothing, but that doesn't mean the goals for this video are any less entertaining. As always, the first goal that we'll try to complete in this video is the highest level of the trainer card, the gold card. For that, we'll need to achieve 3 things. Enter the Hall of Fame, complete the Hoenn Pokédex with the exception of Rayquaza and Jirachi, and beat a Chatelaine in the Battle Maison on the 50th streak. The only difference from the requirements in X and Y in this case would be the Pokédex. Instead of just seeing and registering the Pokémon in the Pokédex, we are required to catch and complete the Pokédex this time. In the first video, apparently everyone and their mothers are devastated that I didn't catch a shiny during the video, so we're including a shiny on the objectives this time. I was never a big shiny fan, so it didn't really cross my mind for the first 100 hours video. The third objective would be to win a contest against Lysia, Hoenn's top contest idol. To be able to compete against her, we would need to complete all Master Rank contests first. Our fourth objective is pretty simple, where we need to level our team to level 100. And finally, there's a fifth hidden objective. As for what it'll be, you'll have to keep watching the video to find out. Though if you've been watching my videos for a while, you might be able to guess what this objective is, since we're playing the Gen 3 remakes. And for the cherry on top, I kept the no over-leveling rules again, to avoid the main game being too easy. I guess it didn't make too much of a difference for the first video though. Maybe I'll do a 100 hours video with hardcore Nuzlocke rules one day. As we were greeted by Big Chungus on our Pokénav, he briefly explained what we could expect from this game. We gave the mythical creature our name and gained control over our character. Contrary to popular beliefs, I would like to think that we voluntarily rode in the back of the moving truck ourselves, since we're a fool and all. We zoomed past the game's first 5 minutes with our mom and went next door to get acquainted with our neighbor. May said some pretty cringe stuff in this game, but it's still bearable. Nothing comes close to the cringe queen, Shauna. We found Big Chungus in a peculiar situation, where he was being chased around by Poochyena. The Torchic was our Pokemon of choice, and made quick work of the Pooch. It was named Toripo. May was beaten soundly in a Pokemon battle, and we finally got a Pokédex and some Pokeballs, officially marking the beginning of this run. Now, even though I have the ability to trade with myself by linking with another emulator, I have modified the ROM to insert all the version exclusives and the starters. For the legendaries though, I will still need to trade with myself from another save file. With that said, before reaching Petalburg, we caught all the encounters we could, including the 2 starters that I've inserted at Route 101, Trico and Mudkip. To make it fair, I wouldn't be using these Pokemon until much later in the game. Since there are quite a lot of catch encounters in the footage, I wouldn't be including every one of them in the video. But I did try my best to catch all the Pokemon I could before moving on to the next area. I will include the captures that made it to the team though. After watching some Beautiflies with May, we made it to Petalburg safely, where we were forced to accompany the sorry excuse of an existence to catch his first Pokemon. Our dad gave us some advice on where to go next after that, but we had some Pokemon to catch. We cleared out Route 102 and caught most of the Pokemon there, including the version exclusives Lotad and Seedot. As always with these games, I find myself unable to progress until I super train all the Pokemon I was going to use. This took me the better part of the second hour. On hour 3, we were finally able to move on. We made our way to Petalburg Woods, where we saved this Devon researcher, obtaining the EXP share after. We exited the woods first, where we caught Lopo the Talo at the northern part of Route 103. As we entered Rustboro City, we were greeted by May as she exited the Pokemart. We spent the rest of the third hour catching more Pokemon and generally exploring Route 116. Lupo, the Lotad we caught at Route 103, was able to evolve into a Lombre. As we hit the 4th hour, we challenged Roxanne for our first gym battle. I led with Lupo, and Lupo was all I needed. He only had to use Absorbs, scoring us our first gym badge. We exited the gym to find Team Aqua up to no good again, as the helpless science guy chased after the Aqua Grunt. We confronted the Grunt over at Rusturf Tunnel, saving Mr. Briney's Pico meanwhile. As we went on with the game, we encountered many different types of evolutions. Among some of those evolutions, we had the stone evolutions, like this Nuzleaf here. I decided to grind for a Leaf Stone over at the Super Training course and evolve the Nuzleaf early. This way, we'd be able to cross the Pokédex checklist as we progress with the game. Along with the Shift Tree, we evolved the Skitty we caught at Route 116 with the Moonstone we obtained from Super Training as well. After finishing up the talks with Mr. Stone over at the Devon Core on the 5th hour, we headed south for the woods again to catch some more Pokemon. The only thing left in the woods at this point was the Wurmple evolutions, so I decided to come back later for them. Mr. Briney, who was just chasing his Wingull all around his house, agreed to take us to Dewford. As we were battling the trainers over at Dewford, Toripo would evolve into a Combusken. We cleared out the first floor of Granite Cave, where we caught a Geodude and named it Geopo. After, we went on to challenge Brawly for the second gym badge. Lopo proceeded to take Brawly's soul away, one-shotting both his Pokemon. Right before the 5th hour ended, we obtained the second gym badge. Steven Stone was our next target, not so deep in Granite Cave. We watched the game's spoiler unfold, and we delivered Mr. Stone's letter to the Hoenn champion. He expressed his gratitude with a TM and made his way out. We made it to Slateport City on the 6th hour, and spent a good chunk of time just grinding for evolutions and catching more Pokemon to further complete our Pokédex. Here, we got Trickpo, the Manectric. We then had to complete the Slateport Museum fiasco with Team Aqua, which was quite a breeze, and met Lizia for the first time. Apparently, we would be the 100th person she scouted. Although the Pokemon contests are a part of our objectives, we would put it off for now and continue with the game first. Toripo and Lupo made the second May fight quite easy, and we made our way to Mauville, where we found an overeager weakling wanting to challenge Watson. We wouldn't battle him yet, as we went back to Route 110 to grind levels for Geopo first. On hour 8, we finally confronted Wally. I suppose the word confront is a bit strong here, it was more of a stomping. Even though Geopo almost died, it was still a stomping. Before facing Watson, Rapo evolved into a Kirlia and then into a Gallade after we slapped a Dawnstone on him. We bought a couple of TMs from the Mauville Pokemart and proceeded to challenge Watson. Because of Geopo, this Watson fight was quite possibly the easiest one I've had in a long time. His Pokemon doesn't really have any counter for a Geodude, so Geopo just spammed magnitudes until there was nothing left. We spent the rest of the hour catching more Pokemon at Route 117, and Lopo managed to evolve into a Swellow. With a Mach-Bike in our possession, we went back to Granite Cave at the 9th hour. Here, we tried our best to catch all the encounters in this cave, including the version exclusives. We were able to catch both Sableye and Mawile, and added Apo the Aron to our team. We then went back to Petalburg Woods, spending the rest of the hour completing the Pokédex yet again. After grinding a Water Stone from Super Training, we evolved Lupo into a Ludicolo. We then spent hours 11 and 12 progressing through the game, eventually reaching Falarber Town. We had the plot development with May and Professor Cosmo, where we were asked to save the Professor at Meteor Falls. Over at the falls itself, we teamed up with May and defeated Aqua Admin Shelly, and was first introduced to Maxie. We went back to Mauville with May, concluding the 12th hour. Right as we finished the slowest cable car ride ever, we scaled Mount Chimney to witness Team Aqua's trickeries. Archie wasn't especially difficult, as Toripo disposed of his Mightyena. His Golbat did get lucky with a Confused Ray RNG, downing Trickpo. Lopo took out his Golbat, though in the end he fell to Archie's Sharpedo. An unlikely hero in Apo rose, as the little steel Pokemon took out the Sharpedo with a Rock Tomb. I have to admit, with the Switch battle mode on, I wasn't really taking these battles with the same level of caution as I would in the Hardcore Nuzlocke. In any case, we scaled down the mountain through the Jagged Pass and made it to Lava Ridge. During the Gym Trainer battles, Trickpo evolved into a Manectric. And for Flannery, Lupo's services were called upon as he completely demolished the Ligma, Numel, and Torkoal. After all my Hardcore Nuzlocks, I'm really enjoying breezing past these battles with advantageous Pokemon. Feels good. Anyway, we got the 4th badge, and we accepted May's offer to go to Petalburg together. On the dawn of the 14th hour, we faced our father in battle after some grinding. I tried to recreate my flawless victory over at the starters only Hardcore Nuzlocke, link in the description, so I led with Toripo. Toripo started by setting up a bulk up, but surprisingly, the slacking went immediately for a Retaliate. From here, Toripo spammed power-up punches, able to dispose of the first slacking and the Vigoroth after. However, because I came in less prepared, Toripo wasn't able to one-shot the last slacking. The slacking used a chip away, and Toripo was rendered unconscious. But it's not like we lost him forever, so it's not too bad. Gotta love these non-Nuzlocke rules once in a while. Gapo came out after and finished the fight, earning us the 5th gym badge. We were dragged to Mauville by this useless piece of poo, and silently cursed at him as he went away. We grinded for a bit, and Apo evolved into a Lairon. From here on, we progressed more with the game as we encountered Steven and Latias, took care of Team Aqua at the Weather Institute, and defeated May for a 3rd time in this game. During all this, we also kept up our efforts in completing the Pokédex, capturing and evolving Pokemon in our possession. Oh yeah, we also met Steven again, somewhere. For the Winona fight, I led Toripo, just because I can, and managed to take out the Swellow and the Altaria. I could have switched for the Pelipper, but I wanted Toripo to experience the pain of death once more. Trickpo was then sent out and took down Winona's Pelipper and Skarmory. All in a day's work, the 6th badge was ours. Toripo evolved into a Blaziken shortly after, attaining his final form. By the 17th hour, we've caught 73 Pokemon and seen 110. Not too terrible, but we could be doing a lot better. We spent the majority of this time getting through route, get all the key locations unlocked for easy access with Fly. Came the 18th hour, we headed off to the desert where we could pick up the root fossil. We immediately made our way to Rustboro and revived it, claiming for ourselves a Lileep, which we named Credipo. The reason for getting a Lileep now is for its Suction Cup's ability, and I think you guys can guess where this is going. We went under this bridge at Route 119 and just started chain fishing. Surprisingly, it didn't take me too long to chain fish a shiny Feebas, which was really nice. At 18 hours and 53 minutes in, we caught a shiny Feebas which we named Meepo, successfully completing one of our objectives. After grinding Meepo and feeding it a lot of Pokeblocks, she was able to evolve into the majestic shiny Milotic. Look at this beauty. We spent a good chunk of time next at the Safari Zone, catching some of the encounters. We didn't catch all of them, we'll be coming back here later. As we made our way up Mount Pyre, we made sure to catch all the Pokemon we could before challenging Team Aqua. Team Aqua itself wasn't challenging at all, as we only had to beat Admin Matt Sharpedo at the end. We were entrusted with the Red Orb in hopes that we could stop the ancient Pokemon from rampaging. We flew back to Lily Cove, where we scored an easy victory over May. She accepted the loss pretty well and decided to retire after supposedly completing her Pokédex. She was definitely lying. We spent the majority of hour 21 at the Aqua hideout, casually terrorizing the place. We beat Admin Matt again at the end of the sequence and watched Archie wander off with Captain Stern's submarine. Apo grinded for levels after that, evolving into an Aggron. The twins' gym fight was next, and as always, very underwhelming. The combination of Apo and Lupo was indeed too much for them. We got the 7th badge and exited the gym to witness an absolutely devastating pillar of light splitting the sky asunder. Steven spotted us with his immaculate cat eyes and pulled us to his house to give us the, you know what, you know the drill. Dive, Aqua hideout, strength puzzle, red versus blue. The Archie fight was decisively won with Apo, who was able to take out Archie's Mightyena, Crobat, and Muck. And Trickbo, who disposed of the Sharpedo with little to no effort at all. Archie looked surprised that we beat him, but it didn't stop him from awakening the sleeping Kyogre. Archie revived the ancient Pokemon, and the Kyogre immediately went blublublublub and summoned a rainstorm strong enough to make Archie panic. Steven was late to the scene once more, and we made our way to Sutopolis. We watched some more cutscenes after this, including meeting Wallace, what a glorious specimen he is, and got friend-zoned by May again. We descended the Cave of Origin to find the troublemaker Orca yet again. We donned the Aqua suit and rode on the Kyogre's back, finding ourselves in the deepest part of the cave. The Kyogre went blublublublub again, and was all like, "Check out my primal form, bitch." It was of course Master Balled, where it can blublublub in peace. It was named Orcapo. The sky over Hoenn returned to normal, plus all these twinkly twinkly stuff all over. In front of the cave entrance, everyone was getting all sappy, including May. Stay away, May, you broke our hearts enough times. The Wallace gym was easy enough because of Lupo and Trickpo. Lupo took out the leading Love Disc and Milotic, and Trickpo one-shotted the incoming Celio. Lupo came back out in the end, manhandling the Wishcash and the Sea King. An absolute breeze of a gym fight, rewarding us with the final badge and qualifying us for the Pokemon League. Before going to the Victory Road, we shifted our focus back to the Pokédex and did some major grinding to evolve all our unevolved Pokemon in the box. I'll spare you the grinding footage, but I will show you this Gulpin evolving. This thing is pretty cute. I spent hour 30 in Victory Road just stumbling about and battling trainers. There wasn't really anything notable, except this green thing at the end. It tried to put up a fight, but got destroyed nonetheless. There was a peace offering in the shape of a Dawnstone, but that was quite worthless for us at that point. Before challenging the League, we headed back to Marvel to speak to Watson, activating the new Marvel side quest. This was important not only for the Thunderbolt TM, but also for completing the Pokédex. Upon leveling, a Magneton and Nosepass are able to evolve here in front of this generator. We also went to see Marvel to complete the side quest there as well, capturing a Spiritomb in the process. We didn't really need this thing, but it was nice to have. We got the Ice Beam TM and some major cash in the process. After more grinding was done, it was finally time to take the Pokemon League challenge. First up was Sydney, the Dark-type Pokemon user. In the face of a Mega Evolved Toripo, he really couldn't do anything. Along with Aaron, he's gotta be one of the easiest Elite Fours ever. Next was Phoebe, who led her Dusclops. I led Toripo again, who was able to one-shot the Dusclops with a Mega Evolved Blaze Kick. Next was the Banette, and Toripo took the chance to set up a Hone Claws as the Banette poisoned Toripo. The Banette was taken out with a Blaze Kick after, as well as the other Banette that followed. Next was the Sableye, who faked out Toripo, resulting in a flinch. Toripo managed to take it out, despite tasting death once more, succumbing to the poison damage. I tried to use Gippo the Sceptile for the Dusknoir, but the Ghost-type Pokemon was a bit too bulky, so I switched for Meepo for a safe end to the battle, ending it with Surfs. Next was Glacia, but she did just about as well as Sydney. I led with Toripo again, who was able to set up 2 Hoenn claws, and the rest is pretty much history. Toripo left no survivors, as he quickly dispatched all of Glacia's team. The same could be said for Drake's team, as I led with Gippo. Gippo took the time to set up 2 Hoenn claws as well, and absolutely destroyed Drake's team with minimal effort. After his performance against the Dusknoir, Gippo had fully redeemed himself. Then, it was time for the final battle of the first Elite Four challenge, Steven Stone. Steven talked some smack about our character growth, then started the battle. I led with Trickbo against his Skarmory. I told Trickbo to use Flamethrower, just because he can. With Skarmory sturdy, the result was going to be the same if he were to use his electric type moves. With the fall of his Skarmory, Steven sent out his Aggron next, so I switched to Meepo. Despite tanking a Stone Edge, Meepo was able to safely end the Aggron's life. Next was Steven's Cradily, so I switched to Toripo, who was damaged a bit by the Stealth Rock. Toripo Mega Evolved and took out the Cradily with a Brick Break. The champion then sent out his Claydol, so I switched for Gippo to counter its type. Gippo used Leaf Blade, almost one-shotting it. The Claydol used Reflect in return, resulting in a higher defense stat. As the Claydol hit, Gippo used Brick Break to remove the Reflect. The next turn, one more Leaf Blade ended the Claydol's reign. Steven sent out his Armaldo next, and I sent Meepo back out. Meepo outsped the Armaldo and used Surf, taking it out in one go. And finally, Steven sent out his ace, Metagross. I switched to Apo and went for an Earthquake. It was faster than the Metagross and didn't really do too much damage. At this point, I just spammed Earthquakes with Apo since I didn't really have anything to lose. Ultimately, Apo tasted the sweet release of death, but Toripo was able to mop up the fight with a Blaze Kick. We defeated Steven and crossed out one of our objectives for the trainer card. May caught up with us expecting to give some advice, but we dismissed her pretty quickly. We registered our Pokemon in the Hall of Fame and watched the credits roll. There was the May fight after the credits, but with a full team and the ability to switch after every Pokemon, this was pretty easy. After the battle, we witnessed a conversation between our mother and father, who never had time for his family, let alone his wife. As we started the game again, we were shown the panic in the Moss Deep Space Center, bringing to our attention that a meteor was making its way to Hoenn, as well as Zinnia talking to herself. We were greeted by our parents as we made our way downstairs and got ourselves a pair of tickets. Literally, a pair of tickets. At this point, we have captured 129 Pokemon and seen 175. The next couple of hours were spent making progress in this field, traversing Hoenn and catching more Pokemon. We also went back to the box to evolve more Pokemon, slowly storing 1 Pokemon each for their species. There's really nothing much to note here, even though it took a long time, but I realized that in order for me to progress, I would need to start breeding some Pokemon. There were some baby Pokemon that I needed to get, but to efficiently breed, I would prefer to do it at the Battle Resort, which means that we would need to go complete a Delta episode first. So, off we go to initiate the story chain. May had her keystone stolen, Matt tried to steal Wally's, we got called by Steven and his dad, we battled Zinnia as we went to collect a meteorite shard, went to the Space Center to meet Cosmo and Steven, Zinnia crashed the party, we learned Zinnia's backstory from her grandmother, saved this Devon scientist again, committed mass genocide, encountered Matt and Zinnia at the Space Center, went to the Aqua hideout to tell on Matt as Zinnia stole Archie's keystone, back to the Space Center, consultation with Wallace, some kind of battle test with Wallace, story number 1 at Skypillar, story number 2 at Skypillar, story number 3 at Skypillar, story number 4 at Skypillar, and final story at Skypillar. Whew, I'm gonna take a short break. Anyway, Zinnia did some ritual thingy to summon Ray Ray. Ray Ray came because he was summoned. Ray Ray was out of juice, so it couldn't Mega Evolve. The meteorite in our bag gave Ray Ray some juice, and finally Ray Ray could Mega Evolve. The Ray Ray wanted us to catch it, so we had to begin the battle. After about 2,000 Pokeballs, we were able to catch the legendary Ray Ray. Nice. It was named Raypo. Zinnia challenged us to a battle, but it was hardly a fair one. We put on the Aqua suit, rode on Ray Ray, and went to space to confront the meteor. I don't know how we didn't die, but we smashed through the meteor, exposed the delta-shaped thingy, and out came Deoxys. After about 3,000 Ultra Balls, we were able to capture the Deoxys. It was named Sispo. This Whismur left us a letter, and Professor Cosmo wanted to kiss a man. Wally had a pretty nice time with his parents, Archie had a pretty gooey bro moment with his bro, Steven pondered leaving his champion seat to Wallace, and Zinnia could finally move on with her life. Big Chungus and wife was hanging out with our parents, and we went on a date with me. All in all, a pretty good day. After being given the ticket to go to the Battle Resort, we had to witness Big Chungus get chased around by a Pokemon again. I'll keep my starter choice here a mystery, since it doesn't really matter. We arrived at the Battle Resort, greeted by this waste of space. Ugh. We bumped into Maxie and his crew, and Courtney expressed special interest. Nice. There was also this looker encounter, which I wish they really explored on. Then, egg hatching time. Also, the Beldum from Steven finally evolved. I spent hour 49 trading with myself on another emulator window, sending over version exclusives from other runs. I was able to get a Groudon, Anorith, Latios, and a Minun, since they are pretty hard to catch in Alpha Sapphire. Pretty impossible odds. I also added the mystery gift event Jirachi, even though it's not required for the gold trainer card. It's still nice to have for the completion of the Hoenn Pokédex. I then started my hunt for the Regi trio. We started with Regice, who was named Jispo, Regirock, who was named Jirokpo, and finally Registeel, who was named Gistpo. At hour 52, I managed to capture 209 Pokemon and have seen 211. I only had Dusknoir and Rhyperior left, whose evolution items are locked behind battle points at the Battle Maison. So, it was time to start our Battle Maison challenge. We ran into Sydney at the entrance of the Battle Maison. He was lucky that we didn't have to battle him again, lest he would have tasted some more concrete upon his defeat. This time, I wanted to test my mettle against a double battle challenge. As I was organizing my team, I came across this subreddit saying how great the combination of Garchomp and Rotom is. So, I booted up my save file from Pokémon X and traded one over, and then caught a Gible over at the desert and trained it for a while. Before I knew it, Chompo the Garchomp and Ropo the Rotom Heat were battle ready. As always, the first 20 non-super battles were quite easy, and our first encounter with Battle Shadley and Evelyn was nothing to write home about. The real challenge started after that, with a team of Chopo the Garchomp, Ropo the Rotom, Toripo the Blaziken, and Gippo the Sceptile. The supremacy of Garchomp and Rotom really became apparent as time went on. I expected to spend a lot more time at the Battle Maison, especially because I was trying out double battles this time. But after only restarting the streak twice, Garchomp and Rotom pretty much carried us to the 50th streak. At the 62nd hour, we faced Battle Shadley and Evelyn once more. I picked up some battle items during the course of the streak and went in with the same team. Battle Shadley and Evelyn led with Entei and Latios, as I led with Chompo and Rapo. Rapo hit first with a Choice Scarf boosted discharge, and Chompo followed up with an Earthquake, taking down the Entei. The Latios countered with a Dragon Pulse, but that was all within expectations. I sent out Geppo next, as Evelyn sent out her Suicune. Geppo immediately Mega Evolved, and Rapo went for a discharge, raising Geppo's special attack because of Lightning Rod. Suicune's health was taken down by half, and Geppo's Energy Ball took it out. The Latios Dragon Pulse Rapo, but Rapo survived with about a third of its health. Evelyn sent out her Raikou last, and Rapo continued with discharge. With +2 special attack, Geppo's Dragon Pulse absolutely ended the Latios' life. Raikou shot out a Shadow Ball, taking out Rapo. Toripo was sent out, as the Raikou used Protect. Toripo ended up damaging Geppo with an Earthquake, but it was still manageable. The next turn, Geppo hit first with a Dragon Pulse, ending the battle. We won the Shadowlane battle and finished off another objective. We came out to admire our monument, but this absolute disgrace just had to ruin it for us. With a lot of battle points racked up, we purchased the Protector and Reaper Cloth needed for our last 2 evolutions. Following a bit of grinding, our Dusclops evolved into a Dusknoir, and our Rhydon evolved into a Rhyperior. At the end of the 62nd hour, we completed the Hoenn Pokédex, effectively getting our gold trainer card. Well, the right side is golden, I guess. I might prefer the Pokémon X and Y gold trainer card better. Additionally, the dialogue at the Pokémon Center changes upon the gold trainer card completion, making us a bit more famous. Our next goal is to conquer the Pokemon contest scene, so we made a lot of Pokeblocks for Meepo, who was making a return. She would soon be absolutely fabulous in all aspects of her life. After looking up a combo for the Pokemon contest, I was convinced to go with a combo of Rest and Snore. So, Meepo went ahead and learned those 2 moves. And holy Jesus, those 2 moves practically won me everything. And I mean everything. From the normal rank contest to the master rank ones. We had a bunch of cutscenes with Lizia and Chaz, the golden-haired rival of Lizia's, talking about our rise through the contest ranks. We completed the contests one by one, eventually completely conquering all master rank contests. The reason I'm only showing you this final contest where we go against Lizia is because I literally only used 2 moves for all the contests, Rest and Snore, and they really did win me every contest. We beat Lizia in this final contest and accomplished yet another one of our objectives. Lizia congratulated us for the win, and Chaz did the same, and gave us some goodies and a Megastone. That left us with the leveling of our team and the struggle to reach level 100. It was all pretty straightforward though, as we repeatedly ran through the Elite Four again and rebattled trainers across Hoenn. I was taking my time here and was just generally exploring around. In the end, we did get all our battling team to level 100, despite it taking a while. We also completed the Mr. Bonding side quest, however wacky this quest was. It's actually quite entertaining. We bought the most expensive ribbons for Meepo, adding it to the collection. After that, with the same team that battled in the Battle Maison, we went to the Battle Institute to test our battling strategy. Of course, it was a perfect score. The second time around. I was left with about 16 hours in the challenge, so I wanted to find another shiny. I quite like the Trico shiny, so I started my quest of Dexnav chaining Tricos at Route 101. For those of you who have forgotten, I placed the Trico and Mudkip here to avoid having to trade too much for this run. And, well, it didn't go so well. For the life of me, I kept messing up the chains. Either I was too distracted because I was doing it while watching Joe Rogan's podcast, or I just didn't have the patience for it. Having spent almost 100 hours of this game in such a close window of time made me get frustrated really quickly. I also didn't want to reset every time I fail a chain. Dejectedly, I gave up my mission for a second shiny and went over to the Battle Resort one final time for our mystery objective, destroying Wally. That felt quite good. With this, as we waited in front of the unfinished Battle Frontier model, we come to the end of this 100 hours journey. This fool would like to thank you all for being with us throughout this journey, and don't forget, Wally's a piece of shit.